So the reason we co-founded Anataban was basically because our country was again put into conflict by our political leaders, and as creative, we wanted to create a platform for the youth of South Sudan to be able to speak up on issues of concern in the country, because these are the masses that are being led by the political figures, but then their voices were not considered in decision-making process. So Anataban basically means I am tired. So we were all tired of what is happening in our country. So we thought like, how about we come up with this beautiful phrase and be able to speak up on issues that are happening in our country using our creative means. How we have tried to mobilize the group of young people, women, and other marginalized communities is by staging events. And in 2017, we started, before the peace talk in Addis Ababa, we started a campaign called South Sudan is Watching. And basically, this campaign was to gather South Sudanese, whichever corners they were in order to be able to be watchful of what the political figures are deliberating in Addis Ababa. So by doing so, we were using music, we were using murals, paintings on the walls of Juba to be able to trigger people's emotion and keep them talking and be able to be watchful on what is happening on the ground in Addis Ababa while these people deliberate on the future of our country. So that's how we have tried to get the masses on board. So the impact that Anataban has created is basically having to create that platform and having people proactive in order to act on issues that they are facing in South Sudan. Of recent, we had a protest after one of our members was uh, was involved in an accident and she eventually died. But due to negligence at the institutions, at the hospitals, uh, this lady could not make it. So the people mobilized and they were able to stage a protest in South Sudan. This is something that people are scared of. People are scared of not able to speak up on issues, on not able to speak up on things that they are facing them. But we saw the impact of what Anataban has done, that people are now, having the courage, they are bold enough to go on the street and protest. I think that's one example that I can give. Yeah, so since the 2018 agreement, we have been promoting the peace deal by basically going to different states within South Sudan, and we had a campaign called Baledna Awal. Baledna Awal is an Arabic word for our country first. So all that we were preaching or telling the people was basically to own the peace agreement, regardless of how much they think it's not going to be an answer to all that they're facing. But then at least we have something that we can work on as a country. So basically, we try to use our arts and creativity to be able to rally people around the peace deal and be able to also find ways on how they can monitor and be peace monitors of what is signed. So basically, like trying to find ways of understanding the peace agreement and holding whoever breaks the peace deal accountable. So we have tried to do that from the signing of the peace agreement. When the pandemic started, we have tried different aspects, and we came up with a campaign called Wagif Corona. That's an Arabic word praise for stop the coronavirus. And as we all know, in the beginning uh, of the COVID-19 pandemic, people were so ignorant about a lot of it, and there were a lot of stories coming around COVID-19. But we stepped in as creatives, and we were painting on the walls in South Sudan, putting murals on the walls on how to be cautious about COVID-19 and how you can get infected by COVID-19 and how to behave around uh, the problem, the pandemic. So not greeting and all that, and these things were put on the walls for people who could not read. They could just see a painting. For people who could read, you can also listen to PSAs, and these are some of the things that we did during this COVID time, and we're still doing them, preaching and or rather talking about the issues of COVID-19 and the problem that it has brought to the world.